Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're taking a deep dive into something that's been in the news a lot lately, the Internet Archive.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating,
It's been making headlines for kind of scary reasons recently, though.
yeah, it really has.
So, most people probably know it as that cool website Wayback Machine. You can see what websites used to look like. But, it's so much more than that.
Oh yeah, so much more.
It's like this incredible digital library trying to preserve, everything about the Internet.
Like a digital library of Alexandria.
Exactly.
Well,
But here's the thing. It's under attack.
literally, like straight up cyber attacks.
Yeah, and not just some kids messing around.
Yeah.
We're talking serious stuff here.
Yeah, in October of this year alone, they got hit with 3 major attacks.
3 in 1 month. That's
Yeah,
insane.
that was wild.
So, is this politically motivated or something? What's going on?
Well, the first attack that happened on October 1st was a huge data leak.
Okay, how huge or good up?
31 million user accounts. They got emails, usernames, passwords. Oh no, passwords, like completely exposed.
Thankfully, they were hashed, so not the end of the world.
What does that even mean? Hashed?
It means they use this algorithm, bcrypt, to scramble them. So even if hackers got them, they're basically useless. It'd take forever to crack them.
Okay, that's a relief. So 1 data breach down, 2 to go. What were the other attacks?
Those were DDoS attacks.
What DDoS?
Distributed denial of service. Basically, they flood the website with so much traffic that it just crashes.
So like trying to shut the whole thing down.
Exactly. They managed to take down archive.org, the main site, and even openlibrary.org, which is their book lending site.
No, not openlibrary.org. That's just cruel. Seriously, who would do this and why?
Well, a group calling themselves SN Black Meta took credit for the DDoS attacks. But for the data leak, no one's claimed responsibility.
So we have no idea who did it or why.
It's a mystery. And no ransom demands or anything. It's weird.
So strange. It's like they just wanted to cause chaos.
Right. What's the point?
Well, some experts think it might be about this thing called cyber street cred.
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
Basically, some hackers target big, important sites just to show off,
Yeah, like a badge of honor or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it still doesn't explain the data leak.
It's so creepy. Like, what are they even doing with that information?
It really makes you wonder about the security of the whole internet.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes you wonder if the Internet Archive, with this whole mission of open access and everything, can even handle these kinds of threats.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. But to really understand what they're up against, we need to look beyond just the attacks themselves.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. Yeah, because it's way bigger than just some hackers, right? This is about the whole future of the internet, whose history gets told,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And it's about the systems we have or don't have in place to protect that history.
Yep.
Compare the Internet Archive to, say, the BNF, the Bibliothèque Nationale de France. It's France's National Library. Super old school. But they have this mandate, written into law, to archive French websites.
Oh, wow. So they don't have to ask permission or anything. They just grab it.
Yep, automatic, part of their national heritage.
Makes sense. But the Internet Archive, they don't have that kind of power.
Nope. They're basically playing catch-up, trying to preserve everything they can. Imagine having to ask permission for every single web page, every blog post, every comment thread.
Oh my God, it'd be impossible.
It's a logistical nightmare. And the stuff they don't get permission to archive, it's just gone. Poof. Lost to the digital ether.
So all those embarrassing MySpace pages we thought were gone forever?
Could be lost for real this time. And it's not just about nostalgia, right? We're talking about important stuff. News articles, research data, cultural movements, all of it could vanish.
It's kind of scary when you think about it like that.
And then, on top of the whole permission problem, you've got copyright law.
Ugh, yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
The Internet Archive has been sued by some big publishers like Hachette, HarperCollins.
Wait, seriously? Over what?
Their digital book lending program.
Oh, right. So libraries are okay, but lending digital books is a step too far.
That's basically the argument. Publishers say it cuts into their profits, hurts authors.
But what about people who can't afford to buy every book they want to read?
Yeah.
Or people with disabilities who need digital formats?
Exactly. That's the Internet Archive's whole argument. It's this whole debate about access to knowledge in the digital age.
It's such a mess. And copyright law was invented way before the internet even existed.
Totally. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. But legal battles are just one part of the puzzle here.
Right, because even if they could magically solve all the legal stuff, How do you even begin to archive the entire internet? It's constantly growing, changing.
It's like trying to catch smoke, honestly. And that's where the technical challenges come in.
Okay, so what are we talking about here? What kind of technical hurdles?
Well, for one, technology is constantly evolving. Remember Flash?
Oh, yeah. Those were the days.
Right. But Flash is basically dead now. And all those websites, games, animations,
Hmm.
they're basically digital dinosaurs.
So they need a way to preserve not just the content, but the technology itself.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's like finding a scroll written in a language no one understands anymore.
Yeah.
And then there's the sheer scale of the internet,
It's massive, like mind-bogglingly huge.
and it's only getting bigger. Every minute, more websites, more data, more everything. Even with unlimited resources, it's impossible to capture it all.
So they have to make tough choices. What to save, what to leave behind.
And those choices, whether we realize it or not, shape how we understand the internet,
Wow, that's deep.
because they're essentially curating our collective digital memory.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes with a whole other set of challenges.
Yeah, like who gets to decide what's worth remembering in the first place? That feels kind of powerful, you know?
Right. And it's easy to assume, oh, archives, they're neutral. They just save everything. But it's not that simple.
So you're saying there's bias, even online?
Of course. I mean, think about the early internet. Who was creating most of the content?
I don't know. Like mostly Americans.
Yeah. And Western Europeans, mostly English speakers. So naturally, a lot of what's been archived reflects that.
Oh, I see what you mean. So like
Yeah.
other languages, other cultures, they might be underrepresented.
Exactly. And it's not just about geography. It's about gender, socioeconomic backgrounds, different abilities, all sorts of things.
Wow. So we might end up with this very narrow view of what the internet and like the world was like just because of what happened to be archived.
Right. It's like trying to understand human history by only looking at like one shelf of books in a library.
That's a good analogy. So, okay, how do we fix this? Like, how do we make sure those other voices, those other perspectives don't get lost?
Well, awareness is a huge part of it. And the Internet Archive, to their credit, they're trying. They have initiatives to reach out to marginalized communities, partner with international organizations.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Because this stuff matters, right? Like, these archives, they're our legacy.
Totally. They tell future generations who we were, what we cared about.
Yeah.
Even the stuff we might cringe at now, it's all part of the story.
You've definitely given me a lot to think about. And honestly, it's kind of inspiring, too.
Oh, how so?
Well, it makes you realize that we're all part of this. Like, we all contribute to this digital history, whether we realize it or not. And we all have a responsibility to shape it.
I love that. And there are so many ways to do that. Be mindful of what you post online. Support organizations like the Internet Archive. Even just backing up your own data.
Yeah, those embarrassing teenage blogs might be historical artifacts someday. Who knows?
Exactly. You never know what future historians will find interesting.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive. We've gone from cyber attacks to copyright law to like the meaning of digital life. It's been quite a ride.
It really has. But I think the biggest takeaway is just how important it is to think critically about the internet and its future. Because it's not just a bunch of websites and cat videos.
It's a reflection of us.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to decide what that reflection looks like. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next time.